Welcome back, my awesome people. I told you, MindMed fans, stay out of MindMed. It is not the type of psychedelic company that you thought it was. They lied to you. In today's episode, I will be highlighting MindMed and their recent announcement to do a 15-to-1 reverse split. For those that don't know or are new to my channel, I have done a few videos on MindMed during the MindMed boom of 2021. And for some reason, something told me to sell once I saw the Jacob Rant interview from February of 2021, which was also one of his last interviews. I will go more into detail of my MindMed position sell later in this video, so stay until the end. And for those new to MindMed, ticker symbol MMED is a biotech company focused on developing psychedelics-inspired medicines to treat anxiety, addiction, and adult ADHD. MindMed shares were around $5 in early 2021 after the company was officially registered on the Nasdaq. Since then, the stock has been gradually falling more than 80% of its value from its high in June 2021. Because it is an early stage biotech company, MindMed requires its investors to be patient in allowing clinical trials to be completed, which usually takes years. And ain't nobody got time for that. MindMed's fundamentals remain consistent and the company has not announced any substantial negative news that would justify this current massive sell-off. The sell-off is likely being driven by a lot of investors dumping speculative stocks and adding value stocks to their portfolios in response to this current bear market. And because of this massive sell-off and drop in share price, MindMed has to do what it has to do to stay listed on the Nasdaq. So MindMed has announced that its directors have approved a share consolidation. For those that don't know what that means, it means that it will be consolidating its shares, meaning reducing the amount of outstanding shares, meaning they are doing a reverse split. The reverse split will see MindMed reduce its share count on a 15-to-1 basis, resulting in an estimated 28.4 million shares outstanding after the reverse split. This implies that MindMed has approximately 426 million shares outstanding currently, which is an increase from the 422.4 million outstanding of March 31st of this year. So they have still been putting out more shares. Now it's time to consolidate it. While this news worried retail investors and sent shockwaves through the psychedelic world, you can definitely check out any Reddit post on MindMed. The move was likely meant to solidify investor perception and avoid being delisted by the Nasdaq, as well as to provide MindMed with greater flexibility in considering and planning for future projects. Once all the regulatory reviews and approvals are completed, the reverse share split is expected to take effect after the close of business on August 26th, 2022, with trading expected to begin on a split adjusted basis on the Nasdaq and the NEO exchange at market open on August 29th, 2022. Stock splits are most commonly associated with positive news, since they typically happen when a stock has performed quite well and generally result in an increased number of shares owned by each investor. But those splits are called forward stock splits. Unlike forward splits, reverse stock splits leave shareholders with fewer shares, and they often result from situations in which a stock has lost a substantial amount of its value. And this is exactly what happened to MindMed. It has lost a substantial amount of more than 80% of its value in the past year. And not only has this destroyed their share price, but also put them in a risky position of losing regarding their Nasdaq listing. A company does a reverse split to increase its share price. The most common reason is to meet a requirement from a stock exchange to avoid having its shares delisted. For example, the Nasdaq has rules to allow it to delist a stock that trades below $1 per share for an extended period of time. Plus, many institutional investors are not permitted to invest in stocks with share prices below a certain minimum. A reverse split isn't necessarily good or bad by itself. It is simply a change in the stock structure of a business and doesn't change anything related to the business itself. Despite the occasional success story, reverse splits aren't usually a good sign for a stock. Because reverse stock splits have no fundamental impact on a company, it's more important to look at the financial health of a stock to assess whether or not a reverse split is likely to work in the long run. So, Jacob Rant, how do I calculate my reverse split for the shares I currently hold? Well, calculating the effects of a reverse stock split is easy. Simply divide the number of shares you own by the split ratio, which is 15 in this case, and multiply the pre-split share price by the same amount, which is 15 in this price. And if that went over your head, here's a simple example. Say a stock like MindMed trades at $1 per share and the company does a 1-for-15 reverse split. So if you own 100 shares worth $100 at current prices, you'll get 1 new share for every 15 old shares that you own. So you'll get approximately 6.6 shares, and immediately after the reverse split, the stock price will rise to $15 per share. So 100 shares divided by 15 equals 6.6. They will obviously round down, and that 0.6 will be cashed out into your account, and $1 multiplied by 15 equals $15. So you will have 6 shares at a $15 price average. To be perfectly clear, a reverse stock split does not change the overall value of your investment. Everything equals out at the end. Many MindMed shareholders have asked me if it was wise to sell before the reverse split. Well, there's no perfect answer for this question. Every investor is different with different goals, risk tolerances, and expectations. Long-term MindMed investors might applaud the reverse split as an essential step in the company's restructuring plans. For the short-term investor, they might view a reverse split as a sign of future volatility and may decide to sell. The point is that neither answer is wrong. The best bet is to evaluate the company and determine if it makes good sense for your investing needs. Hey, my awesome people, if this video gave you something to think about or something to put on your watch list, subscribe to the channel to get all my updates and investments. And follow me on Twitter at @JacobRant and on Instagram. And if you want $25 of real cash money for free to buy your favorite stocks, sign up with my Wealth Simple link down in the description box below and start investing. So, Jacob Rant, what are you going to do? Is this reverse split a good sign? Are you buying or selling the rest of your MindMed shares? Well, as you all know from my recent MindMed video, this one, I personally have sold the majority of my position in MindMed last year with amazing profits. And I sold during the MindMed hype after the horrible interview from the CEO at the time, Jacob Rant, as I knew that there was something going on with MindMed that was not being told to us based on that interview. I got tons of hate for that video because there were a lot of butthurt MindMed maniacs that could not see past the hype. And thankfully, I trusted my intuition and I got out because right now it is sitting under $1 and risking a delisting from the Nasdaq. And because of that, here comes a 15-1 reversal split. So for me, my thinking is that I will be averaging down my current position before the split. And once the split happens, as there usually is a spike in share price because of the hype, my plan is then to fully 100% fully get out of MindMed, as I believe that yes, MindMed will do some amazing things in their clinical trials with psilocybin. However, the fact I have to hold for many years, especially since it is not a dividend paying stock. And as you all know, I love my dividend stocks. I would rather invest my money elsewhere. Also, MindMed lacks direction, and with a heavy increase of competitors, I have placed MindMed in the sell as soon as possible pile. I am not getting out of psychedelics at all. Instead, I would rather invest in psychedelic companies that actually have a stronghold in the psychedelic field, such as Numinous Wellness and my most recent addition to my psychedelic portfolio, Awaken Life Sciences. At the making of this video, the share price of MindMed is 80 cents, which would mean that after the split, the price of the share and the price of your average would all be multiplied by 15. So 80 cents times 15 equals $12. And say your average was $2.50 a share, then your new average would be $2.50 times 15, which will equal to $37.50. And I am not waiting years for the price to go from $12 to $37. So if you are in this position where your average is pretty high, I highly suggest averaging down now before the reverse split, because it is easier to spend a few $100s to average down a share that costs less than $1 compared to trying to average down a share that is in the tens of dollars already. For the few MindMed shares that I do currently own, I will be averaging down, as my current average is $1.80 and the current share price is 80 cents. So this will be easier financially to average down compared to averaging down after the reverse split. Yes, MindMed could unfortunately go down once the reverse split happens, just like many other penny stocks, like cannabis stocks, for those that do know. And my thinking could totally be wrong, but this is a risk that I am willing to take. High risk equals high reward. And remember, my awesome people, just like all the information that I mentioned in my videos, please do your own due diligence, because I am just a clown on YouTube. And again, if you are watching this video and do not have a Wealthsimple trade account and you want free money to trade with at $0 commission fees that won't eat into your profits, sign up with my Wealthsimple link down in the description box below for $25 of free real money. Link is below. So again, I am not a financial advisor, so make sure you do your own research and consult your financial professional. Thanks. There is so much wealth out there for all of us to get a piece of. So by allowing our hard-earned money make us more money is the key to wealth and the key to financial success. Subscribe, like, and share to help out the channel so you will get notified of when I post my penny stocks, REITs, dividends, and speculative stocks from my portfolio and other investments that I am buying and selling. I want everyone to have the opportunity to get out of this work-life trap by buying back their freedom through investing. So let's all ride together on a journey of health, love, success. So until the next video, stay ranting.